Hello everyone and welcome to one more of my videos. This video today will criticize some information that I see being circulated on social media about specific matters pertaining to women, of course, and marriage, of course. It appears that this is the new trend on social media. Everyone talks, and when I say everyone, I mean all the male public speakers is the correct term. Now, some of them, they have some kind of religious training. One of them is a mufti. I will not say his name. I will tag the video on Instagram that I saw today, and it was the last blow, let's put it that way, that made me create this video and the video that I will record afterwards, which you will see it after a week. The problem with tagging videos from other social media platforms on YouTube is that sometimes these videos are being removed. It happened already in one of my previous videos. So anyway, you will have to rely on the video for as long as it's there, and when it will be removed, if it will be removed, on my words. So today we will talk about how helpless women are when it comes to the different types of marriage. This will be a very touchy topic, and it will be a lengthy topic if my recording device lasts for long. So quickly, let's start. Okay, so of course the whole point is not about the actual nikah, which is considered the norm of marriage in Islam, but about misyar, about muta, which is the temporary marriage, and how horrible these marriages are, and women are being exploited, and it shouldn't be happening, etc. I don't know where to start. Should I start about why these men promote these ideas? Should I start about how they try to justify their condemnation about certain types of marriage? I don't know. I will start with the condemnation. So one of the arguments that I saw today, and really touched my nerves, was about yes, that a misyar marriage and a temporary marriage. Okay, first of all, let's take it one step earlier. What is a misyar? What is a temporary marriage? A temporary marriage, known also as muta, is a marriage where the couple decides that they will be together for a specific time period, and is being practiced in Shii Islam. Bear this in mind. Until 15 years ago that I remember, when I would ask a Sunni person about muta marriage, oh, this is prostitution. This is not marriage, it's prostitution. I was like, why? They didn't know to tell me. They were telling me how Shi'is are not Muslims, and you know, they're infidels, and I shouldn't listen to them, blah blah blah. Then I discovered, oh yeah, Sunnis would claim that the only marriage is the nikah. Okay. Later, I discovered, as I was studying, I discovered the misyar marriage, which now is very popular because of social media, but back then it wasn't. When I would talk about misyar marriage to Sunnis, they will say, there is no such thing. But there were the sources, there were the classical jurists that had approved misyar. Misyar is a perfectly legitimate marriage. So what do they do now that they cannot claim that this is not legitimate? Both misyar and muta, they are legitimate marriages, and we have evidence from the period of the Prophet, peace be upon him, that the Prophet permitted, which is another story. Oh, I love the Muslims, not in a good way. So on my early stage, when I will talk about muta, and they will tell me no, it's not valid. The Sunnis will tell me that it's not valid, and then I would bring them the hadith where the Prophet has permitted. Then they will change a little bit the narration. They will say, yes, the Prophet did, but then afterwards, there are two excuses. One, that afterwards, in some imaginary time, the Prophet said that, okay, this will not be happening anymore, which is not a real argument, because we have another hadith from the son of Omar, that his name was Marwan, I believe, who said that how can Omar forbid something that the Prophet allowed when it comes to the temporary marriages? So yeah, the one is that so based on Marwan's statement, that means that it was Omar who stopped the temporary marriages in Sunni Islam. And Omar, those of you that you have studied Omar specifically, not Omar was a majestic. Omar had deviated in many aspects from the paradigm of the Prophet. But anyway, this is one thing, that the Prophet changed his mind, or the Prophet said that no, the Prophet didn't say anything. The other excuse is that the Prophet permitted it on specific circumstances. Well, yeah, Habibi, specific circumstances. Marriages serve specific circumstances. The specific circumstances back then was battles. So when Muslims will travel for battle, and of course women, some, because the Prophet was taking his wives with him. The poorer Muslims, that they were either they were unmarried or they couldn't take their wives with them, they would have temporary marriages. And there is an example where the Muslim man said to the Prophet said, okay, you can have temporary marriage, but you need to give her mahar. And the soldier said, I have nothing to give her other than my something like a coat or a jacket, imagine with today's term. And the Prophet was like, this will be her mahar. So they don't have, the Sunnis don't have anymore any justifications. So they throw it that, it's Shi'is do it, so we cannot do it. I'm not Sunni, I'm not Shi'i, I don't go down that path. But anyway, this is their justification. Then it was the Misyar, which again, initially they were, and I'm talking about lay Muslims now, okay, because there is a huge gap between what the scholars, the actual scholars, not the Dawa bros, actually know about jurisdiction in Sunni Islam and what they say to the public. But this will be another video. So anyways, Misyar came on the forefront, which of course is legitimate. So now what they do, these uncles and babas and bros, women are so fragile and women are being exploited through these marriages. One of them said, he said that, women fall in love after they will consummate. And so if you tell her about Misyar, she might say yes, but then after she will consummate, she will fall in love with you and she will not want Misyar. Well, there are two things here, uncle. One, who told you that your bulbul is so sweet, is so honey, that the moment a woman will taste it, will fall in love with you? This is one of the pseudo-scientific elements that babas and sheikhs use for centuries to invalidate women. They talk for the women instead of the women. So as a woman, let me tell you that no bulbul has ever been so sweet that a woman will try it, and the moment we'll try it, we'll be like, don't want to lose it. Actually, what happens, but do you know why that happens? Because men think through their own experiences and they imagine the female experience. Because men have prioritized their, and they can fall in love with women if the woman is good enough in this aspect. They assume, they imagine that women do the same, but it's not the same with us. Women fall in love with character, with treatment. And there are many women out there, Muslim and non-Muslim, thousands of women out there, that they remain in marriages where the bedroom is not the most sharp aspect of the marriage, because the person is kind and gentle and treats them well. On the other hand, there are women out there that they were married to men, that they were majestic in the bedroom, but outside the bedroom, they will treat their wives like a trash. These women, they are no longer with these men. So your thing is not so sweet, Baba. This is one thing. The other thing that, oh, the woman will agree in a Misyar marriage or in a temporary marriage, but afterwards she will fall in love and she will not. A woman is a responsible adult, or it should be. A woman that is being married, okay? So this idea that, oh, I agree on something, but then I change my mind. No, Habibti. If you agree on something, you need to honor your contract or change your contract. But this idea that women are also these uncles that they go out and they preach, the Sunnis preach against muta marriage and the Shi'i preach against Misyar marriage because, you know, they have solved all other problems within Muslim community. We have solved the problems of spiritual abuse. We have solved the problems of poverty. We have solved all our problems, and our only problem now, the only sensitive topic in Ummah is the different types of marriage. Anyway, the way they talk about women, they present, you know, they have this prototype in their head of a Muslim woman that she is puberty age-wise, absolutely ignorant about her body, herself, her emotions, her rights, her political rights, her, you know, and, you know, the damsel in distress, that the man is responsible, my man. We are not like that. We are not like that. First of all, if we remove from the equation the very poor communities in every country, especially Muslim majority countries, the very, very, very poor communities, where, yes, girls are being married off at very young age, but they don't have a word in what is happening to them. In the rest of the Muslim majority countries, and especially in non-Muslim majority countries, Muslim women, when they reach the level of getting married, they are in their mid-20s, early 30s, and they have studied, they have careers. We are not these naive, disconnected from the universe creatures that, oh, we don't know anything, we have no agency, and the man, it's on the man. We are not like that. Are these uncles and these sheikhs, why they think of us like that? Because that's what they desire. They would wish that all women were like that. They would wish that all women would have zero knowledge of their rights, zero knowledge of what's going on, zero agency on their life and on their body. And because that would be very easy for men, but this is not the reality. So you see, they use, oh, there was another one where I think he was in Jordan. He was speaking in Arabic, where he was saying, oh, Misyar is opens the gate for the shaitan. You know, all these empty mumble things that evident what you're talking about. What door, what shaitan? Let's talk about realities. Okay. So yeah, I hate it when Muslim men project this idea that all Muslim women are damsels in distress and it's the men that either save them or break them. Having covered that, they treat us like children, you know, they think that we are children. We are not. And also this idea when they talk, when they talk about marriage and Muslim women, they assume that all Muslim women that are interested in marriage are they get married for the first time, they're virgins. Again, it's not the case. We are thousands, if not millions out there that we are Muslim, we are women, and we have already been married before. You see how they use arguments to invalidate a bad marriage by excluding large groups of women. And then what you have? You have the teenagers, you know, best case 18, 19-year girl that, yes, she's uneducated. And why is she uneducated? Because these same sheikhs and babas and uncles promote the idea that women, the woman only needs to know the Qur'an, nothing else. Anyway, let's now, I will be the advocate here of both Misyar and temporary marriage, muta. Why? Because I'm neither Sunni nor Shi'i, and this is the strength, this is the power when you are not one of the herd. You don't have to blindly obey someone or something because your group says so. So let's see why I think that these are wonderful marriages, for as long as you know what you're doing and you put it in a contract. Because contrary to what every Baba will tell you out there, both Misyar and muta, they can and they should be in contract. This is something that they forget to mention, these Babas. You know why? Because if all Muslim women, be it the first time that they are being married or the 20th time that they are being married, if all Muslim women, they demand that they have a proper contract, not this one-page certificate with your name and your passport, proper contract with your terms and conditions for every type of marriage, Misyar, muta, then of course everyone will ask it about the nikah marriage, which, by the way, one of the arguments that one of the uncles used was that, oh, Misyar and muta marriage, they belittle the marriage into nothing but an agreement about intercourse. And marriage is not like that. Marriage is much more than that, without mentioning what is the more like that. Okay. Anyone who has a basic knowledge of Arabic language and fiqh knows that this is exactly what a marital contract is. It is only and exclusively about intercourse. The word nikah, you know, we have our nikah, this is the word for marriage, comes from the root nun ka ha, which is the same root for coitus, intercourse. You know, when one goes into another. Go to Syria and see in the Syriac dialect. What is the word for, you know, the word that in English starts with F and finishes with K? What is the word? Go. The verb. Go and check the word they use in the verb form. So nikah is the contract between a male and a female, specifically about the sexuality of the connection between the two. Other than that, you know, why are you getting married? As we know, if we don't know, we need to learn. A woman in Islam has zero responsibilities towards the husband. No cooking, no cleaning, no lactating the child, no raising the child, nothing. Theoretically, according to Islamic law, according to the ancient forefathers, the Salaf Salih, a woman's responsibility is solely to be available whenever the husband is in the mood. Which is why we have long-lasting criticisms about the whole point of marriage. And there are some interesting books that from September onwards, inshallah, when I will do the book reviews, we will discuss about that. I will not make the video too long now. A nikah is a contract about intercourse. So the uncle saying that, oh, these type of marriages, they bring down the level of marriage to only intercourse. That is the whole point of the marriage. That's why you're getting married. That's why you have the contract. That's why the man is responsible to maintain the woman. The woman needs to stay home, beautify herself. Her only responsibility is this, is coitus, which in today's societies, in today's ethics, begs questions about you know, the autonomy of the woman. I cannot say the word because YouTube will delete the video. Whether a woman has agency, according to classical scholars, okay? But anyway, that's what a nikah is. Even the word nikah means. So this argument that Misyar and muta, but either he didn't know it, either he didn't know English, Arabic, or he hadn't studied fiqh. And most of these babas and uncles out there, they are just public speakers. They don't really study. They don't know what they're talking about. Which begs the question of who do you follow? I mean, who do you listen to? But anyway, back to my point, back to talking about why I believe that they're wonderful marriages for women, especially for women, not for women that they are poor and they want to get married only to have food on their plate and a roof over their head, but for women who have a career and have their own income. And let me tell you why. First reason to have a misyar or temporary. Let's talk about misyar now. Let's not, misyar. Misyar is what? It's like a normal nikah. The only difference is that in your marital contract, you say, look, I don't want to go and live in his house because according to fiqh, Islamic law, when you get married, the woman needs to live in the house. The housing is the responsibility, the financial responsibility of the man. Okay. So the woman says, I don't want to go to live in his house. I prefer my house. Or she can say, yeah, we will live together, but he will not pay for my expenses. So what is a misyar? Essentially is a more flexible type of marriage where the woman has the flexibility to let go some of her rights because housing, feeding and clothing and everything is the responsibility of the husband. So if the husband is too poor or if the husband, that's what the woman does. Can the woman recall or reclaim her rights? Absolutely. All what is needed is a renewal of the marital contract. And a marital contract in Islam, like every other contract, can be renewed, can be replaced at any moment the two people want, as many times as they want. So why as a woman should why is not oppressive and is not bad for me as a woman to have a misyar marriage? One, I have children. I'm divorced, I have my children, and I don't want another man into my house. I don't want another man to come and start playing father and start raising my children according to his own values, for whatever reason. Misyar, he lives in his house, I live in my house, we meet whenever we can, both. He doesn't decide when you will meet, both. It's a matter of convenience for both. And that's it. Another reason, autonomous woman. I'm someone that I'm in a certain age and stage that it's very difficult for me to have a man into my house all the time or to be with a man into his house. And this micromanaging that men require, like, oh, where are my socks? Where is my hat? What did you cook? I need to eat at 1 o'clock. If you want to eat at 1 o'clock, go and cook. I eat at 5 o'clock. Why do I have to change my schedule? It is a bother between me and you. If you have already married once, and because if you have never get married, you have this pink picture in your head about, oh, marriage is amazing and I love it. That's not the case. Okay? This is in fairy tales. That's why we call them fairy tales. If you have lived with a man, you know how much a man can drain you. I mean, I don't know if the youngest generation has men that they can cook, they can clean, and they can live on equal terms. But I'm someone that I'm very busy. My time is precious. And whatever spare time I have throughout my day, I want to relax. I want to chill. I don't want to have someone else to have to manage. A third thing, perhaps, and this is a case that it has come to the forefront. A gentleman proposes, and of course he has his own house, but his own house is much lower quality than my house. Okay, so in my house I have my windows, I have my garden, I have nature outside my window, and he lives, let's say, in the city center with cars and pollution, and there are 2 tiny windows, no garden. The quality is. Why would I go and live with him? We can get married. I live in my house, you live in yours. We meet for the necessities. We are in contact. You can buy me gifts. I can, cook for you whenever I come to your house, or whenever you come to my house, I can cook. We can have this husbandly, wifey relationship, but not all the time. Another reason, you live far away from each other. Let's say you fall in love, especially now with the internet and distances have been erased. So let's say, for example, I live in the UK and someone lives, let's say, in Germany. Okay. And I'm attracted. I love him. I want to be with him, because for women, contrary to what the Baba said, that it's only when we taste the bulbul, usually we women, we develop feelings from everything else other than that. So yes, you can be in love, you can want this man, but he lives there, he has a life there, he has a career there, and you live here. Taking the risk to destroy a career, to destroy your life setting, and just move in another country because of marriage is a huge risk. And given that today we don't know each other that well, maybe online is a good person, maybe I have met him twice, thrice, but it's different when you live with someone. So a Misyar marriage is a perfect marriage. You travel to him or he travels to you, you spend some time together, you decide who covers what expenses, and it's a perfect marriage. So this is for the Misyar marriage. Let's go to the muta, to the temporary marriage. Why is a good idea? Primarily, first of all, muta also has a contract. And this is why I think it was BBC years ago. The BBC had an investigation about, I think it was Iraq, where some Muslim men, who else? The scholars, mullahs, they were making temporary muta marriages for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Poor girls for rich men or foreign rich men. And part of the mahar was going to this mullah. So he was taking percentages of the mahar. And of course, this is prostitution. But that's not because muta forces you to do that. That's how men took something that existed, muta, and distorted it in aim to be benefited by for themselves. But muta, in reality, you can have, if you know what it is, you can have a contract and you can put your terms and conditions. And yes, the husband in muta has responsibility and pays for you if you both agree so. This is an element, because everyone says about muta, oh, what if a child comes? The man has full responsibility for any child that will be born from a muta marriage, equal to the responsibility that he has in a nikah marriage. So it's not, a muta is not, I don't know you, you don't know me, we find each other one day and we go out. Muta, usually it counts in months or years, not in hours or days, okay? So why is a muta good? To get to know each other. Because in the era of the Prophet and the 1st or 2nd century after that, people would marry from the same village, from the same proximity. So I will know my neighbor and my neighbor will know me, and we will have, our parents will know each other and our uncles will know each other. So everyone knew everyone. So when it was the time for marriage, I would have a full report about his ethics, his status, his financial conditions, his habits, etc. And he for me, of course. Now, I live in London. Whoever I meet, how do I know who he is? How does he know who I am? We don't know each other. Having a muta marriage, you can spend time together. You can, in the contract, you can have muta marriage without intercourse. If you put it in the contract that we will do everything else together, but we will not have intercourse, that's valid. I know a case where a father did a muta for his daughter, and then eventually they stayed with in muta marriage for a year, and then eventually got married and have, today they have 3 children, I think. So both Misyar and muta can lead to permanent, let's put it that way, marriage. So yeah, one is to get to know the person. What kind of person is he or is she? Instead of marrying and then in a nikah, and then discover that it's a trashy person. And as a woman in a nikah marriage, you don't have the right to divorce him. It's very difficult. Even the idea of khula, that everyone says, yeah, but khula is... In khula, the husband needs to agree So, and this is why these men fight so much against Misyar and muta marriage, because in Misyar and in muta you have equal rights. You put in your contract, I can divorce you whenever I want. It's not a temporary, it's not a permanent marriage. So, one, the character. You see that the person is not, you have a muta for 6 months. You see that the person is not of your liking. Oh, you wait 6 months, and after that, if he comes and he says, I want to renew, you say, no, I don't want to renew. Nobody can force you. You go far away. Another thing, very important thing, coitus, intercourse. It's this risk of marrying someone forever, hypothetically, from the woman's side, without knowing whether you agree physically for the pleasures of the flesh, is a big risk, huge risk. And as I said earlier, women have stayed in very, how can I say that, boring in the bedroom marriages, just because, you know, they got married and the pressure of society, and she got to like him a little bit, and you know, it's very difficult for a woman, and especially with the taboo that exists in Muslim communities. Imagine if a woman goes to a qadi and says, I want a divorce because he doesn't please me. How possible is this? Theoretically, a woman should have the right to do it according to fiqh. But come on, whereas it's temporary, it's misyar. After a while, you're like, you see, it didn't work. Let's split it. And this is important. This is very important for a happy life. So, to finish the video, these uncles, they lie to you, and they know that they lie to you. Why they oppose so much misyar and muta? Because these marriages give greater flexibility to women and greater freedoms to women to have a much more pleasant life while they're being married. We are not all 18-year-old virgins that we have zero life experience and zero knowledge about our persons, our sexuality, our careers, and we wait for a man to save us. This is another thing. These Muslim men, that they take offense on the idea that a woman will not need a man to feed her. They do it. Why? Because for generations and generations and generations, Muslim men grew up knowing that some woman will tolerate them and will babysit them and will cook for them and will clean for them and will raise their children, you know, their dream. Just because the man, all he needed to do is give money. But now they come into a reality where Muslim women, we don't care. Most Muslim women, we don't need your money. There is a difference if we want them. We're talking about needing your money. So if marriages that financial provision is not the outmost sign of manhood start being prominent, men, most Muslim men, not all of them, but most Muslim men, they have nothing else to demonstrate. So also sectarian divisions. So the Shi'i will condemn misyar, and the Sunni will condemn muta, which essentially it's the same. The only difference is that, oh yeah, this I forgot to say. The only difference between muta, temporary, and nikah, misyar, whatever, is temporary, the temporality of the marriage. Which means, so how the Sunnis condemn it is that, oh, there is the intention of divorce. Bear this here. When they say that, they create a false illusion that in a nikah, in a classical marriage, there is no intention of divorce, and might not be. First of all, a muta does not lead always to divorce. A muta can lead to extension if you want. So we get married for 6 months and then we extend for another 6 months. Or, and I don't want to deal with you anymore. Or an actual marriage. So it's not that it's always the whole objective of muta is for something that it will be for a small time period or short time period. It gives you freedoms, and it gives you this certainty that at some point this will finish, and then I will make an informed decision. I will know his or her habits. I will know his or her
qualities, and I will know whether we match the bedroom, which is very important for some of us, not all of us, some of us. But doesn't mean necessarily that the couple will split. I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? You see, I'm getting older. I forget. So yeah, this idea that, oh yeah, the intention of divorce. When it comes to nikah, who said that men do not have the intention of divorce? A man can divorce a wife in a nikah the next morning. They marry, they do what they do, they consummate the marriage, otherwise the marriage is not marriage. Which proves again that yes, nikah is all about intercourse, because you can be married for years. If you don't consummate, if you don't do the act, it's void. Anyway, uneducated uncles, or willingly lying, intentionally lying uncles. So yes, in a nikah, the husband, all the husband needs to do is say talaq, talaq, talaq 3 times. He said it, you're divorced. And yeah, he needs to feed you until your menses or 3 months to make sure that you are not pregnant, but you're divorced. So this idea that, oh, muta is about intention of divorce, but nikah isn't it? How do you know the intentions of a man? Do you know if every man had good intentions, we wouldn't have the situations that we have today in the lived experiences of women. So do you know what's the difference? That in a muta, it's clear, it's honest for both sides, that this is for as long as we will stay together, and then we will see what our options are. Whereas in a nikah, a woman has the illusion that this, I'm settled now, this is forever. And the man next month can come and say, you know what, I don't like the food that you made, I divorce you. And that's it, you're divorced, you like it or not. And then of course we have the women running to us and crying and say, oh, what can I do to keep him? Nothing, Habibti, you cannot do anything. Because all these ideas and all these rhetorics against muta and misyar are very heavily informed by Christianity, okay? It's in Christianity that a marriage is forever, until death do us apart, you know. In Islam, the marriage is today you have it, tomorrow you don't have it. But in a nikah, only for the man. For the woman needs to go to a scholar and, needs to take approval, and the husband needs to approve it if it is khula. If it is not khul, then okay, it's a longer process. More often than not, the scholars say to the woman, go back to your husband, even if there is the element of infidelity, which will be the next video we'll make, and the woman cannot divorce, but the husband can. The husband can divorce you the next morning. So, are misyar and muta bad? Not at all. If you know what you're doing, if you demand that they are being put on contracts and you put your terms and conditions. If you don't know your rights, if you don't know the fiqh behind it, if you don't know the Quranic background of this right, that you have it as a woman, and this was the main difference that Islam brought to women's lives. When it comes to our rights, go and watch my videos about the marital contract. I have 3 videos with details. I will not repeat myself. So, are they bad marriages? Not at all. Are we all Muslims damsels in distress and we don't know, and the men lie to us, or the men? If we know, if we learn about our rights, if we learn about our religion, and we don't rely on uncles and babas and sheikhs, then no, they don't have this power. The power is ours. It's, it's crazy. Some men claim to defend women from other men, and other men claim that these men lie, or they do lie in aim to, they have this feeling that they come to save us. Girls and ladies and sisters and cousins and women, all of us, no man will ever give you your rights. Why? It's not them to give it to you to begin with. Your rights are given by God. What you have to do is know them and fight and stand on your ground to claim them. Do not sell your rights because he has beautiful eyes, or because he wears galabiya, or because he prays 5 times.
irrelevant. So for as long as you know what you're doing, for as long as you create your own terms and conditions in your contract, can be anything you want, there are benefits in a misyar and in a muta, because you don't want to be married to a sociopath. You don't want to be married with someone that beats you up every second Wednesday. And now everyone will say, Muslim men don't do that. Yeah, Muslim men do that. Muslim men do that a lot. So, yeah, stop supporting men, Muslim men, that they project this idea of the weak, uneducated, intellectually inferior Muslim woman that they will come to save. Nobody saves you. Nobody has your interest in mind. If Muslim men, if half of the Muslim men, not all of them, half of them, had the interest of the Muslim women in mind when they were making fatwas and decisions and cultural practices, the lives of Muslim women today will be brilliant. But they aren't. That's all for today. I will see you in the next video. You will see me in the next video. Yeah, questions, comments under my video on the channel. And yes, spread the word. That's all for me for now. Bye.